Close your eyes for a moment and picture your life as it is right now. Perhaps you're surrounded by a home filled with things, clothes you haven't worn in years, gadgets you rarely touch, papers you keep meaning to sort. Your phone pings with notifications. Your calendar is packed with obligations that feel more like burdens than joys. And your mind hums with a quiet, persistent stress. You're not alone in this. In our modern world, we're bombarded by excess, more possessions, more demands, more pressure to keep up with a culture that equates more with happiness. But deep down, you feel it, the weight of clutter, the ache for simplicity, the longing for a life that's rich, not in things, but in meaning. What if there were a way to let go of what's holding you back and embrace a life that's lighter, more intentional, and deeply fulfilling? Today, I want to guide you along the Japanese path to a rich, simple life through minimalism, drawing on timeless concepts like danshari, mottainai, wabi-sabi, ikigai, and ma. These practices, rooted in Japanese philosophy, aren't about deprivation or living with nothing. They're about curating a life filled with what truly matters: clarity, purpose, gratitude, and joy. Let's explore this path together, step by step, and discover how living with less can lead to a life you love. Let's begin with danshari, a Japanese approach to decluttering that transforms not just your space, but your entire way of being. The word danshari is composed of three characters: dan, to refuse; sha, to discard; and ri, to separate. Together, they invite you to refuse unnecessary things, discard what no longer serves you, and separate yourself from attachments to possessions or habits that don't align with your values. In a world that pushes you to accumulate more clothes, more gadgets, more commitments, danshari is a gentle act of rebellion. It asks you to pause and reflect. Do you need all these things cluttering your home, your schedule, your mind? That overflowing closet, those unused kitchen appliances, the endless stream of emails you've subscribed to, they're not just physical clutter, they're mental and emotional weights, draining your energy and clouding your focus. Danshari empowers you to let go with intention, creating space for what brings you joy and purpose. The benefits are profound: a home that feels like a sanctuary, a mind freed from chaos, more time for relationships and passions, and even financial freedom from curbing impulse purchases. By choosing less, you open the door to a richer life, one defined by clarity, peace, and alignment with your deepest values. To practice danshari, start small to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Choose one specific area, a single drawer, a corner of your desk, your digital inbox, and set a timer for 15 minutes. As you sort through each item or commitment, ask yourself, does this spark joy or serve a purpose in my life right now? Does it align with the person I want to be? If the answer is no, thank the item, a practice rooted in Japanese respect for the energy objects carry, and let it go. Donate it to someone who'll use it, recycle it responsibly, or repurpose it creatively. Be compassionate but firm with yourself. Then, Extend Danshari to your schedule. Are there obligations you can refuse, like social events that leave you drained or subscriptions that clutter your mind? For example, could you unsubscribe from 5 promotional emails or say no to a meeting that's not essential? The challenge often lies in navigating emotional hurdles, guilt about letting go, fear of needing something later, or attachment to the idea of just in case. When these feelings surface, remind yourself, true abundance comes from trusting that you have enough, that you are enough. Picture Mia, a teacher whose cluttered home mirrored her scattered thoughts. Using Danshari, she cleared her space, keeping only what she loved or needed. Her mornings became calmer, her focus sharper, and she saved hundreds by resisting the urge to shop. To deepen Danshari, make it a monthly ritual. Choose a new area, your wardrobe, your phone apps, your mental to-do list, and declutter with intention. You might keep a journal, noting what you release and how it feels to create space. Danshari teaches you that minimalism isn't about emptiness. It's about liberation, crafting a life that breathes. Now, let's explore mottainai, a Japanese concept that expresses a gentle regret for waste and a call to cherish resources. It's the pang you feel when you toss out uneaten food, discard a still functional item, or replace something just because a shinier version exists. In Japanese culture, mottainai reflects a deep respect for objects, time, and the environment, rooted in a history of resourcefulness and sustainability. In our modern consumer culture, where fast fashion, single-use plastics, and planned obsolescence are the norm, mottainai is a powerful wake-up call. It urges you to use things fully, repair what's broken, and choose quality over quantity. By embracing mottainai, you reduce waste while cultivating gratitude for what you have, easing the stress of always wanting new or better. The benefits are both practical and profound. You save money, lessen your environmental footprint, and develop a mindset of abundance through appreciation rather than accumulation. Mottainai transforms minimalism into an act of care for yourself, your community, and the planet. To bring mottainai into your life, start with mindful awareness. Before making a purchase, pause and ask, do I truly need this? Will it last? Opt for durable, timeless items. A well-crafted bag, a sturdy pair of shoes, over cheap, trendy alternatives that wear out quickly. In the kitchen, plan meals to use every ingredient. Turn vegetable scraps into broth. Freeze leftovers for another day, or compost what's left. When something breaks, a shirt tears, a chair wobbles, try repairing it before replacing it. A basic sewing kit or a bit of wood glue can extend an item's life. Extend mottainai to your time and energy. Are you wasting hours on mindless scrolling or saying yes to commitments that don't align with your values? Limit one distracting habit, like checking social media during meals, and redirect that time to something meaningful, like reading, journaling, or connecting with a loved one. The challenge is resisting the convenience of disposability, which our culture normalizes. It takes effort to mend, plan, or repurpose, but the reward is a life that feels intentional and grounded. Imagine Sam, a barista who used to buy trendy gadgets and clothes, only to feel guilty when they broke or piled up. By embracing motainai, he shifted to thrifting, repairing items, and using things fully. His savings grew, and he felt a quiet pride in living sustainably. To deepen motainai, keep a weekly log of what you consume, waste, or save. Food, money, time, and brainstorm small ways to improve. You might start a motainai project like turning old jars into storage containers or repurposing fabric into reusable bags. Motainai shows you that minimalism isn't just about having less, it's about valuing what you have, living richly with gratitude. Let's turn to Wabi-Sabi, the Japanese art of finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence. Wabi-Sabi celebrates the worn, the asymmetrical, the fleeting. A chipped teacup, a fading flower, a rainy afternoon that passes too quickly. Rooted in Zen Buddhism, it honors the natural cycle of growth and decay, seeing beauty in what's real rather than what's polished. In a world obsessed with flawless social media feeds, curated homes, and unattainable ideals, Wabi-Sabi is a soothing balm. It whispers, your life doesn't need to be perfect to be rich. That cluttered desk, those laugh lines etched from years of joy, the quiet moments that slip away, they're all Wabi-Sabi, brimming with meaning. By embracing imperfection, you release the stress of striving for not enough, finding joy in the present as it is. The benefits are deep: less self-criticism, more gratitude, and a heart open to life's transient gifts. Wabi-Sabi makes minimalism feel like a celebration, not a sacrifice, showing you that a simple life is beautiful in its authenticity. To practice Wabi-Sabi, start by shifting your perspective. Walk through your home and find one imperfect item you cherish. A scratched dining table, a faded quilt, a mug with a tiny crack. Sit with it and reflect. What's its story? Why does it matter to you? Carry this mindset into your daily life. When something goes wrong, you burn dinner, miss a workout, or stumble over words in a meeting, pause and ask, what's beautiful about this moment as it is? Try a Wabi-Sabi ritual. Arrange a simple bouquet with whatever's outside, embracing its uneven stems, or prepare a meal with whatever's in your fridge, savoring its quirks. Journal about a personal flaw you judge, perhaps your tendency to overthink, and reframe it as a sign of care or creativity. The challenge is defying society's obsession with perfection, which can make you feel inadequate or unworthy. Wabi-Sabi requires courage to love what's real, to see beauty in the cracks. Picture Lena, a writer who hid her imperfect drafts, fearing they weren't polished enough. Embracing Wabi-Sabi, she began sharing raw, unfiltered work, finding freedom and deeper connections with her readers. To deepen Wabi-Sabi, take a weekly walk and photograph or sketch something imperfect, a gnarled tree, a weathered fence, and write about its charm. You might create a Wabi-Sabi corner in your home, displaying items that tell a story of use and time, like a worn book or a chipped bowl. Wabi-Sabi teaches you that minimalism, living with less perfection, less pretense, is a path to a life that's more than enough. Now, Let's explore Ikigai, the Japanese concept of your reason for being, the quiet spark that makes waking up each day worthwhile. Ikigai is found at the intersection of four elements: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. It's not always about grand, world-changing goals. Sometimes it's the simple joy of gardening, teaching a child, or crafting something with your hands. In a culture that measures worth by productivity, status, or wealth, Ikigai asks a gentler question. What makes your heart sing? Without Ikigai, life can feel like an endless checklist, leaving you restless or unmoored. By aligning your life with your Ikigai, you infuse even the simplest days with purpose, making a minimalist life feel vibrant and full. The benefits are transformative: greater resilience, deeper fulfillment, and a sense of flow that turns mundane moments into meaningful ones. Ikigai shows you that living with less doesn't mean living without passion. It means living for what truly lights you up. To discover your Ikigai, carve out a quiet moment to reflect. Grab a notebook and draw 4 overlapping circles labeled what I love, what I'm good at, what the world needs, what I can be paid for. Write freely in each, without judgment, and look for connections. Perhaps you love painting, are skilled at teaching, see a need for creativity in your community, and could lead art workshops or sell your work. Don't worry if the overlaps aren't clear right away. Ikigai is a journey, not a destination. Experiment with small actions. Dedicate 10 minutes daily to a passion like writing, volunteering, or playing music. Each evening, ask yourself, what felt meaningful today? Try a monthly adventure to explore your Ikigai. Take a workshop, join a community group, or revisit a childhood hobby like knitting or photography. The challenge is overcoming self-doubt or the pressure to turn your passion into a paycheck. Ikigai doesn't always need to be a career. It can be a quiet joy that fills your soul. Imagine Ken, a nurse who felt his days lacked meaning. Through reflection, he discovered his Ikigai in storytelling, sharing tales with patients and their families. His evenings glowed with purpose, his stress fading as he connected with something bigger. To deepen Ikigai, share your passion with others. Start a book club, teach a skill, or post your creations online. You might keep a purpose journal, noting moments that feel alive and what they teach you. Your Ikigai is already within you, waiting to make minimalism a vibrant, purposeful choice. Finally, let's embrace Ma, the Japanese concept of negative space. The pause, the silence, the stillness that gives life depth and meaning. In a traditional Japanese garden, Ma is the empty path between stones, creating balance. In a conversation, it's the quiet moment that deepens understanding. In your life, Ma is the intentional pause that allows you to breathe, reflect, and choose with clarity. Modern life is relentless, filling every gap with screens, tasks, or noise, leaving you frazzled and disconnected. Ma invites you to do less, but with more presence, to create space for what truly matters. The benefits are profound: a calmer mind, stronger connections with others, and a clarity that cuts through the chaos. Ma makes minimalism feel spacious, not empty. It's the canvas on which a rich, simple life is painted. To practice Ma, begin by auditing your day. Where are you rushed or distracted? Could you carve out a pocket of stillness? Try this tomorrow. Before checking your phone, pause for 5 minutes. Sit with your breath, notice the light in your room, and ask, what do I want to carry into this day? This small act of Ma sets a mindful tone. Throughout the day, weave in micro pauses, a deep breath before responding to an email, a moment to gaze at the sky between errands. At night, resist the urge to scroll. Instead, reflect on one moment of joy or gratitude. The challenge is overcoming the guilt of doing nothing in a culture that equates busyness with value. But Ma is where wisdom and peace are born. Picture Aiko, a chef whose days were a blur of orders and stress. By practicing Ma, pausing for a few breaths before each shift, she found calm and rediscovered her love for cooking. To deepen Ma, create a weekly ritual. Spend 20 minutes in silence, perhaps journaling, meditating, or sitting in nature, letting your thoughts settle. You might designate a Ma space in your home, a quiet corner with a candle or plant, to return to when you need stillness. Ma teaches you that minimalism, living with less noise, less rush, creates space for a life that's full of meaning. Contrast these practices with the alternative, a life overflowing with things you don't need, driven by the relentless pursuit of more, chasing a perfection that never arrives. That path leads to stress, disconnection, and a nagging sense that something's missing, no matter how much you accumulate. You might have a house full of possessions, yet feel empty. A schedule packed with tasks, yet feel purposeless. The Japanese-inspired path, Danshari, Motenai, Wabi-Sabi, Ikigai, Ma, offers a different way. It's not about having nothing. It's about having what matters. Danshari clears the clutter from your space and mind. Motenai cherishes what you have. Wabi-Sabi embraces the beauty of imperfection. Ikigai ignites your purpose. And Ma creates the space to breathe it all in. Together, these practices transform minimalism into an art form, one that's not about sacrifice, but about joy, freedom, and abundance. The difference is stark. One path weighs you down with excess, while the other lifts you up with simplicity, inviting you to live a life you truly love. Embracing this path isn't always easy. Consumerism is seductive. Old habits are stubborn, and the fear of missing out or not being enough can creep in. You might wonder, what if I let go of too much? What if a simple life feels empty? These are natural fears, but they don't have to define your journey. Danshari gives you the tools to release what no longer serves you. Motenai helps you value what remains. Wabi-Sabi teaches you to love the imperfect. Ikigai fuels your purpose. And Ma offers the pause to stay grounded. You're not aiming for a life with nothing. You're curating a life with meaning. Start small to build momentum. Choose one practice, perhaps 10 minutes of Danshari to clear a shelf, a Motenai-inspired repair of a favorite item, or a Wabi-Sabi moment to appreciate something imperfect. Commit to it for a week, then layer in another practice. Share your journey with a friend or family member for accountability, perhaps discussing what you're letting go of or what brings you joy. Reflect each evening. What felt lighter today? What sparked gratitude or purpose? You might keep a simple journal, noting one small win or insight each day. Maybe it's the calm of a decluttered desk, the warmth of a repaired sweater, or the quiet joy of a purposeful moment. Over time, these practices will weave together, reshaping your life in ways you might not expect. You'll find yourself lingering over a morning tea, savoring its warmth instead of rushing. You'll laugh longer with a loved one, unburdened by the need to check your phone. You'll feel at home in your space, surrounded only by what you love or need. Your days will feel less like a race and more like a rhythm, one that's uniquely yours. This is the Japanese path to a rich, simple life through minimalism. Less clutter, less stress, less striving, and more of what fills your heart. It's not about perfection or rigid rules. It's about presence, about choosing what matters and letting go of the rest. Imagine Hana, a marketing manager who once felt buried under possessions, obligations, and pressure. Her home was a maze of unused items, her mind a tangle of stress and self-doubt. She began with danshari, clearing her space one corner at a time, keeping only what sparked joy or served a purpose. Motanai inspired her to mend clothes and repurpose containers, saving money and feeling connected to her choices. Wabi-Sabi taught her to love her quirks, the messy bun she wore on busy days, the chipped mug she drank from, and to see beauty in life's imperfections. Ikigai led her to rediscover her love for writing poetry, spending evenings creating for the sheer joy of it. Ma gave her the gift of pause, a daily moment to breathe and reset. Today, Hana's life is simple, vibrant, and deeply hers. She's not free of challenges, but she meets them with clarity and calm, living with less and loving it more than she ever thought possible. You have the power to create this kind of life too. It starts with one choice, one moment, one small step toward simplicity. Take a deep breath. Let go of the noise, the excess, the need to be more. You are enough, right here, right now. The life you're craving, a life of clarity, purpose, and joy, is within your reach. What's one small step you can take today to begin walking the Japanese path to a rich, simple life through minimalism? Trust yourself. The path is yours, and it's more beautiful than you can imagine.